A number of Christians believe that there is a verse in the Bible that teaches us that the Antichrist will be gay or asexual or simply not attracted to women. That verse, of course, is Daniel 11:37, and it does seem to confuse many as to what it could mean. Many of those who are now watching this video already understand the correct interpretation of this verse. But for those of you who don't, or just need a little more clarification on this topic, here is a short segment from a video I did a little over a year ago. After it's over, I'll be back with one more important point I want to add. There are many Christians who think that Daniel 11:37 is teaching us that the Antichrist won't be attracted to women. It does no such thing. This is a prime example of how many of us will read the Bible, but we don't study the Bible. We take a verse, or part of a verse in this case, completely at face value, rather than using our God-given sound minds to fully understand the deeper meaning. There are videos on YouTube that teach the correct interpretation of Daniel 11:37, both on my channel and elsewhere, but in case you're new to my videos and this verse has confused you, here are 7 quick points to make the meaning clear. Number 1. The basic problem is that many take Daniel 11:37 out of context. The passage runs from verse 36 through verse 39, and the word God or gods is mentioned 8 times in just 4 verses. The entire passage is about how the Antichrist puts himself above God and all other gods. Number 2. Not only is verse 37 taken out of context from the surrounding verses, part of verse 37 is taken out of context from the rest of verse 37. The simple fact that the words desire of women are so out of place compared with the rest of this verse should tell us that there is a deeper meaning, and there is. Number 3, the desire of women is a reference to what women desire. The desire belongs to the women, not to the Antichrist. In other words, it's all about how the Antichrist won't care what women desire, not that he won't desire them. Number 4, the BDB lexicon of the Old Testament tells us that the word desire in this verse is referring to idolatry, and specifically the god Tammuz. In case you don't know, Tammuz was the god of fertility, and thus we can understand how this relates to the desire of women. Number 5, by simply checking other translations of this verse, we can further understand that the desire of women is specifically referring to the gods that women worship, in this case Tammuz, the god of fertility. Here are a few of those translations to help make this clear. The king will ignore the god his ancestors served and also the god that women love. In fact, he will ignore every god because he will think he is greater than any of them. He will have no respect for the gods of his ancestors, or for the God loved by women, or for any other god, for he will boast that he is greater than them all. He shall pay no attention to the gods of his fathers, or to the one beloved by women. He shall not pay attention to any other god, for he shall magnify himself above all. He will not show regard for the God of his ancestors, the God desired by women, or for any god, because he will magnify himself above all. He will not show regard for the gods of his fathers, the God longed for by women, or for any other god, because he will magnify himself above all. This king will reject the gods his ancestors worshipped and the God preferred by women. In fact, he will put himself above all gods. The king will ignore the God his ancestors served and also the God that women love. In fact, he will ignore every god because he will think he is greater than any of them. He will not respect the gods of his fathers, not even the God loved by women. He will not respect any god. He will elevate himself above them all. Number 6, those other translations match the context of the surrounding verses of Daniel 11:37. It's all about God or gods. The Antichrist won't care about the God of his fathers, the God preferred by women, or any god, because he considers himself to be above them all. Number 7, the heart of the problem is that biblical Hebrew had no word for goddess, and so the KJV and a few other translations did not properly render the meaning of the verse. However, by studying and not just reading this verse, it is clear that Daniel 11:37 is talking about the gods of women. One more thing I want to add is that rather than the Antichrist not being attracted to women, the Bible actually describes him as precisely the opposite. He is referred to as an uncontrollable beast who goes out conquering and to conquer. This means that the Antichrist will have an over-the-top desire for all the things of this world, whether that's women or power or money or fame. And just like a wild beast, he will seek to take all of these things by force.